Sure, why not? Well, when I picked it up, I had no idea what it was. I knew it was something spectacular, though. I saw a vision, flashing lights, the whole shebang. We've done everything that we can do for Irvin's case aside from going to Gagarin.
Ready when you are. Hello.
Stable orbit achieved. You can stay here forever. Well, for a while anyway. I have something for you. I was just thinking that this is about what Irvin saw all those years ago when he arrived. He probably stood here thinking that he was going to make things better. He had a good heart. We need to reopen the case. See if there's anything that was overlooked the first time. We've done some legwork remotely, but we need to do some good old-fashioned investigating now. Hopefully it will be enough to clear Irvin's name. Oh, you remind me of him sometimes, wanting to make things right. And when you said it out loud, you know, I actually believe we can do it. I just hope our lawyer is as confident. Ellie Yankton. She worked on Irvin's previous case. Ellie is one of the few lawyers on this planet who's willing to take on the mining corporations in court. I sent that to our lawyer already. I asked her to confidentially review what we found. Yes, but listen, nobody will stand up against the mining corporations around here. They're scared. She didn't want to lose the case, but she didn't have a lot to go on. Thanks to us, now she does. Right. She said she would meet us at our office when we arrive. Hopefully she can tell us what we need to do in order to clear Irvin's name. Let's stick together, though. Gagarin isn't a huge town, but it's not the kind of town that I want to get lost in. The early history of spaceflight? So political. So
Well, well, well. Barrett, you're actually here. Astounding.
Ellie! Ellie, come on. I promised we'd stop by, didn't I?
People make promises all the time, Barrett. And most folks try to avoid Gagarin, not visit it. Anyway, I'm glad you made it out here. We have work to do, don't we? It's not a resort. It's a working town run by mining corporations. You don't come here unless you need to, and you don't stay unless you have to.
Or unless you're a bright-eyed, optimistic lawyer who genuinely wants to make things better for others. Right, Ellie?
You're kind, Barrett. Yes, I suppose there's that type of person as well. Yes, it was my first case as a bright-eyed, optimistic lawyer.
Well, starting your career with a defeat is rough, Ellie.
It was. But in a way, it made me more determined. Not exactly, but similar cases. A corporation commits a crime and needs a scapegoat, so they select someone powerless to target.
The quintessential Gagarin tale.
Indeed. Down to business. Perfect. What do you already know?
So we already know that Irvin worked for Hephaestus Mining Company years ago, and they blamed him for catastrophic economic and ecological issues here on Gagarin.
Yes. He lost his case because he didn't defend himself, and we had almost no evidence without him.
I recall receiving a message asking him to appear in court a day after his funeral.
An unfortunate reality of interplanetary legal communiques, I'm afraid. He was publicly blamed for the economic woes, and his accounts were seized in compensation.
His account on Gagarin specifically. It was just the amount he was paid years ago for the job.
Right. They would have taken his assets and other settlements, but by law, his death prevented it. Well, we can bring the case to a judge here if we have new evidence or a witness.
What about the evidence we found so far?
Yes, well, about that. It's just not enough. Not on its own, no. It's circumstantial. Helpful to support our claim, but not enough. Best case scenario, we clear his name and his assets are returned, plus additional compensation. In order for me to go before a judge, I'd like to have some solid evidence pertaining to motive. The courts won't entertain a challenge to its ruling unless we're sure that something major was missed in the original trial.
What was the motive from the original trial?
We had no solid motive after our witness withdrew his testimony. Yeah, we need something major. Documentation, recordings, a witness, something.
It's been so long. How could we find anything like that?
I've thought about this a lot since the original case. The mine that Irvin worked at was shuttered in 2309. They probably still have documents relating to whatever happened there with him.
Not really. All I know is that it's a Hephaestus mine from 20 years ago, somewhere on Gagarin.
I don't have a couple decades to wait for you to search them all, so we'll need to narrow it down. Not necessarily. To Hephaestus, it might be cheaper to run away and let the dust bury it all. That's where you come in. I don't know which mine he worked at when the incident took place. In theory, you could find that information on a Foundry terminal, if you can access it. You'll need a passcode. That's the hard part. Besides the Foundry records, there also might be something in Irvin's apartment. If he knew he was being framed, he might have held on to some documents there.
Even the confidential records and salvageable equipment? Seems wasteful.
It was probably cheaper than transporting older machines around the planet.
Makes sense. Not many people wander around outside of the city looking for abandoned mines.
Why lock your door when you're the only person on the planet, right? Anyway, try to log into the Foundry system or convince someone to find Irvin's mine for you.
Sounds like an awkward conversation. Fortunately, the captain is rather good at those.
Hopefully, that's enough to work with for now. If you'll excuse me, I have to get some court documents ready for this case.
The Foundry district isn't too far from here. I should still have the key to Irvin's apartment. I hope it's worth our time, but I can't be sure. We'll be back soon, Ellie. Wish us luck.
You have questions, right? I've always been passionate about environmental law, so coming here was a natural fit. But I'm not gonna lie. There were times I almost let go of the rope. Losing Irvin's case really shook me. Imagine having all these wild ideas about how you were going to end corporate malfeasance, and I couldn't even win one case. But you can only cry about it for so long. I told myself to suck it up and win the next one, and the one after that. It didn't matter how many tries it took, I'd just keep chiseling away at the whole justice system until I made a crack. Maybe, but I'll be here anyway, holding the galaxy's tiniest chisel. Not as many as I should, given the contracts these miners are signing. Most of the time, I'm just here to remind folks they've got rights. A piece of paper can make you do a lot of things, but it can't break the law. Well, we still need more evidence before I can bring this up to the judge. Until that changes, I'm afraid there's not much more to discuss. Good luck.
I know a guy, all these fancy new businesses going up and we still can't get them to open up a chunks.
You're not gonna tell my mom I'm out here, right?
You want to know what I think about all these new businesses buying up the town? No comment.
They probably never intended for these walkways to last this long.
sure the catwalk's all right. I don't want to have to fish anyone else out of the canyon.
Well, this is it. Irvin's old apartment. Here, use this key. After you Now I get why he wanted me to look after his plants. No windows, insufficient power for proper lamps. Oh, he must have been miserable. No wonder he wrote so much. Wait a second. What about this safe? I bet it's locked by a terminal. Irvin didn't live here for long, but he certainly had a lot of junk here. I had no idea. Well, I'll be. If you ever doubted Irvin's genius, look at all this. Still chugging along 20 years later. Now, let's see what's in there. All right, we've got some solid leads, it looks like. The employment contract and the hunting license at Town Hall. And as the lawyer, she's probably right. The burden of proof is sky high on this one. It's likely already in orbit. It was a bit strange going through Irvin's old things, though. I was hoping for some old pictures, but nothing. What's that you have there? A plant? No, but I did find a few slates that might give us a clue, as well as a reminder to finish a physics paper that I never did. Yeah, but not for the trial. Let no one say that Irvin Madani didn't have a sentimental side. The proof is in this plant. With an assist from this self-sustaining habitat dish. I'm not sure. It might not even be a plant. It might technically be a fungus. But there's probably a reason why Irvin tried his best to keep it alive. When we get back home, I'll go through some of his research notes. It might tell us something more about this plant. Hopefully it's not poisonous. Witchcraft, probably. But if you want a more scientific explanation, I have a couple of theories. It could go through states of hibernation, or draw moisture from the air the way epiphytic plants do. There's also that habitat dish Irvin set up for it, which gave it light and nutrients. Still, I'm not ruling out witchcraft. No, maybe not. But it helps me. Irvin was the last person to handle this plant. It mattered to him. No matter how the case goes, this warms my heart. I didn't expect to find it, but I love that I did. In any event, I'll go through Irvin's notes in more detail later. There's probably a flowchart somewhere with this little guy's name on it. Oh, on that note, we should give it a name. I'm thinking something simple yet refined. What do you think of Harvey? Then it's unanimous. Okay, the three of us should get back to it. You, me, and Harvey have a case to solve.
Security was a real hard ass. Now, if Praetorian chews you out, you probably earned it.
My mom said the other day that she was gonna ship me off to Neon. I think that's bad.
Finally starting to cool off.
Been an uptick in strongly worded graffiti recently. Guess what's going on.
so. The hunting license was sponsored by Hephaestus after all. Ellie will be very interested to see this. We should check in with Ellie soon, after we visit Town Hall. Back to the case.
Can this wait? Pretty busy trying to relax here. Ah, you just moved here thinking it would be different, right? That's how they got me too. That used to be how it is, but some people grew up here. I don't know if that's a good thing. Nobody works in the mines here thinking we'll get rich, friend.
Well, it's got some amenities and protections, but not as much enforcement. A good balance for some.
It's just the best option for a lot of us right now. Are you selling something or what? I'm not buying though, so... You lost her waiting for somebody? Not now. Trying to hide myself to go back to work.
Coordinates look valid to me. Imagine Irvin thinking the same thing all those years ago. Just a job, right? Well, at least we know where to keep looking, right? Essentially any documentation that screams, Irvin isn't guilty, we made it up. I guess we'll see what state the mine is in. It's possible they collapsed it before they left. We just won't know until we get there. If that's the case, we'll just have to figure something out.
Haven't seen you in the mines before, you know.
up at the Vanguard office?
Garen's not an easy place to live.
We have so much to do, to see.
We're clear. There. Stable over it achieved, like a toy sailboat released into a calm pond. Full. This place was shuttered 3 years ago. I'd have new tenants now.
Captain, hello. I am satisfied to see that you survived your most recent sleep cycle.
muscle time. All yours. This looks promising. This looks like administration. Company records. All right. Now let's go find Irvin and Helgi's lab stations. The evidence we found so far is compelling. Okay. Let's keep looking around. was the destruction of the bacterial colonies, not the apex predators. So, they ruined the ecosystem here, and it had nothing to do with Irvin. This is it. This is what Ellie needs to see. Right? Not uncommon for them to leave all this equipment behind, but it seems rushed. Smells weird in here. Seems like Helge tried to do the right thing here. I'm sure Ellie would want to see this.
He's citing numerous ethics violations dating back to before Irvin's time, and Hephaestus just ignored him.
Find your seats, stow your belongings.
Engines ready. Orbital
This is
insertion.
UC Security. Prepare to be scanned for contraband. Scan complete. Welcome to Gagarin. You are clear to land.
You might want this. Ellie's going to love seeing this hunting license. I do, actually. Here you go.
Need some work done?
I've got applications in at ArcMine and Reliant.
Hey, what's drunk?
Are you taking coffee orders?
Ellie! Hello?
Welcome back, detectives.
Ellie, I sent you all the data from the mine already. As I'm sure you know.
Yes, I've been reviewing it. Sit down. Let's have a chat about it. Welcome back, you two. How was the trip to the mine?
You're gonna love this, Ellie.
Okay, someone better tell me. Come on.
We found the coordinates to Irvin's old work site and went there. Huge battle. Fire, explosions. Pew, 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 oh, pew.
Barrett, please.
You should have seen the plants in there, too. Weird stuff. Anyway, you read over the documents we found there, right? What do you think?
What you both found in that mine is remarkable. These documents show that the chemicals released by the mining process contaminated the ecology even before Irvin was tasked with removing the predators. And they also show that Helgi informed Hephaestus of the issue and it was repeatedly ignored. And with that, I think we've got ourselves a case, my friends.
Yes! That's what I wanted to hear, Ellie. Woo!
Yes, but it's still likely to lose. Because what we really need now is Helgi as our witness, and that is a problem. Helgi isn't an ideal witness at all. He was our star witness the first time, and he never showed up. Plus, he's got a reputation around town. After he quit, he went a bit weird.
Well, I can handle a bit weird. I know the captain can too.
Clearly. But the judge might feel differently. It might be worth finding some character witnesses too while you're looking for him. Helgi's documents are nothing without him there in court, explaining them to the judge.
Does Helgi still live around here by any chance?
Sort of. He's, unpredictable, though. that's also a bit tricky. He's hard to find. Doesn't really stay in one place for long. We could, but I think we'd lose the case, bluntly. We can verify these documents are real, but Hephaestus can counter by attacking Helgi's character. They'll label him a disgruntled employee and then find a dozen independent scientists to confirm Irvin was at fault. But with Helgi in court, he can explain the science and help me challenge any countering theories during cross-examination. You might ask Dr. Keala. She checks up on folks who fall through the cracks sometimes. You'd have to convince her to tell you where he is. That might be hard.
Sounds like we're making a stop at the med clinic. We'll be back when we convince Helgi to be a witness.
Listen, if he refuses, then he refuses. Can't force him.
Yeah, we don't want to press him too hard. The last thing we need is him refuting what he wrote. This is going to take a light touch, but I think we can handle it.
You're back. Well, what did you uncover?
The detectives will be back soon, Ellie. Don't worry.
I remember watching shiny new mechs rolling onto ships at the port. Been a long time since then. Smells like the Centaurian Mills plant is making a new test batch of something.
Do you need medical assistance? Are you injured? Is there something I can help you two with?
Do you happen to know Dr. Helgi Hodgson? We're trying to get his help with something.
Sorry, who are you exactly?
We're detectives. Self-taught and unaffiliated. Freelance detectives. With the emphasis on the free part.
Wait, what? Detectives? Sorry, I don't think I know what you're talking about. I treat anyone who walks in my doors, if I'm able to. No, not really. I mean, there's Irvin the Slaughterer and Irvin the Scourge of Gagarin, but I doubt that's the same person, right? I'm sorry, I'm not a tour guide. You'll have to ask somebody else.
We're trying to help him. And Gagarin, actually.
Only every single time I see him. But listen, I don't have time to chat. Ellie's a good person. That bodes well, but I can't violate my oaths. I'm sorry. Listen, I can say that Helgi took up a job working at Clint's store just down the way. I saw him there stacking boxes the last time I picked up an order. I've got to get... If it's patient medical records you're after, I'll remind you, I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
We're thinking of taking Hephaestus to court with Dr. Hawkson as a witness. Now, given his situation, we're worried the defense might cast aspersions on his character, even question his mental health.
That's unfortunate, but not surprising. Look, if he agrees to testify and grants me permission, I could vouch for his well-being.
Thanks, Doc. If he does end up testifying, we'll definitely need you for the trial. Ellie Yankton will be in touch.
No promises, given patient confidentiality, but I'll do my best. Let me look you over. I see nothing here that needs healing. Nothing physical, anyway. Of course. Here's what I have. I need to get back to my work now, if you don't mind.
I wonder if there are any mining jobs on Mars these days.
Put up with some dust. Well, different dust.
End of the colony war hit Gagarin hard. The city's just finally getting back on its feet. Someone painted some choice words on the front of the arc mine factory the other day. Their robots took it down pretty quick, though.
Welcome to Clint's. Whatever you need, I'm sure I've got it lying around somewhere. Except mech parts. Don't trade those anymore, so don't waste your time asking. Well, for one, it's illegal in UC space. Making mech platforms used to be Gagarin's bread and butter. So, since they were banned in the armistice, I get 1 to 2 folks a month asking what kind of relics I might have lying around. But I'm not about to risk a contraband fine at my age, so that's why I just lay it out up front. If you need anything, just follow the sound of falling inventory. You'll find me eventually. Gagarin. It was a military town until the end of the colony war. Mechs were our specialty. Everyone always blabbers about Mars making the highest performance machines. But if you needed a system that wouldn't let you down in a pinch, you piloted a Gagarin. But that all dried up when the mechs were banned with the armistice. Now, we've got these new firms coming in. Arcmite, Centauri Mills. Claim they're here to revitalize the city. Which is funny, since their employees refuse to step foot in most of it. Plenty more competition for stores like mine, that's for sure. UC had a lot more money to throw around in those days. During the war, I couldn't keep the shelves stocked. At first, because of all the demand. But later, because the Freestar Collective flotillas were so damn good at picking off UC merchant craft. But the biggest difference now? The quiet. Not just because most of the forges and mines shut down. It was the testing. Firms used to drive their prototype mechs out into the canyons, way beyond the city. But you could still hear the guns all the way from here. It was like, shoo, thunder. So when the thunder stopped, well, so did Gagarin in a way. Good way to think about it. Hopefully I'll be around long enough to see the end result.
Funny you ask, because I'd like to know too. He owes me a sizable debt. Enough that he's no longer allowed in my store. I don't like denying service to anyone, but it's the principle of the matter. I've seen him around, but never in one place, except when he needs money. I offered him a job, but he showed up to work drunk one day and I had to let him go. I don't have any ill will toward him. Sure, the credits I'd like to have back, but only because it'll mean he's gotten his life together. Yeah, I don't want to be mixed up with anything like that. I do understand. I'm trying to figure out a way to help you, okay? Hard to argue with that. All right, fine. I don't know where he is, but ask Lizzie up at the bar. She knows everybody. You sure you got the right person? Helgi and I have had several run-ins in the past. For me, yes. But there's a lot of water.
We just need someone to serve as his character witness, given your long-standing reputation in the city.
Sure, I can say a few words. I like Helgi, but fair warning, I'm not gonna lie for him. If I'm testifying under oath, it'll be full of the good and the bad.
Wouldn't expect anything less.
If you don't mind the mess, I've got a system. Let me just bring that up.
Yes, the detectives. I heard about you.
A reputation already? I'm impressed.
Slow news day, I guess. There are very few secrets here in Gagarin, my friend.
Just makes the ones that exist much more expensive.
It is what it is. I serve drinks here, friend.
We were told that you are a local crime.
We serve drinks here. Here's a list of our specials for today.
There's nothing on here.
Oh, that's strange. Here, let me fix that. Don't worry, it's just the one sale today.
Oh, right. Of course, it's a number. Here you go, Captain. All yours.
The service I provide is worth quite a lot. Don't think I'm desperate or anything, but you do have a point. Hold on. I never said that was my final offer. All right. Consider it a favor. Sending the coordinates now. Bunch of corporate marionettes moving in, setting up shop. They think we're just a bunch of cheap factories and dumb labor that'll leap at whatever scraps they toss us. But Gagarins are tough by default. We've got exactly zero need of corporate condescension. Sure do. I came into some money right around the time the war ended. Places were selling for nothing. Every person with credits was flying to New Atlantis. I got this place for a wink and a nod. Have been slinging drinks the way I like them ever since. Wait, so let me get this straight. You want the bartender to testify he's not a lousy drunk? Yeah? I'm full of good points. Just be sure you pay for them. Don't cook yourself out there.
Folks on Gagarin, we just want to be left alone. Understand?
Lost? The trick to the catwalks? Just keep turning right. You'll get where you're going eventually.
You want to know what I think about all these businesses buying up the town?
I don't suppose you're here to tell me I've won a ticket to a new planet, huh?
Sorry, Doctor. Not today. We came to Gagarin to investigate Irvin Mandani's contract with the mining company a long time ago. Ring any bells?
Irvin, yeah. Biologist. Hunter. Yeah, I remember him. Why? Who are you people? Well, I'm a fella who needs a drink. I guess we all don't get what we want in this world, do we?
Please. Irvin was once one of your colleagues. He was the one Hephaestus blamed for an ecological disaster about 20 years ago. Do you remember any of that?
No, I don't remember lies. It's been 20 years. 20! Get out of here.
Look, I know this is strange. We show up out of the blue about things that happened decades ago. But right now, nobody save us knows the truth. And that means we're the only ones who can clear Irvin's name.
Then Irvin should have showed up at the trial to defend it himself.
It's not just about Irv. This can't be the only time something like this has happened. Someone needs to hold this company accountable. That's why we'd like you to testify in court.
Testify? The trial is over, the verdict rendered. In case you two clowns didn't get the memo. I remember not to talk with people who come asking questions about powerful corporations. Believe it or not, I don't need or want your money. I made enough of it by working for massive mining corporations. I don't need to risk anything else. Because I tried before, and they threatened me. 20 years ago. I still wake up in fear almost every night. They said if I ever left Gagarin, I left my wife to protect her. She didn't deserve any of this. Any of my mess. Ellie Yankton. But why? It doesn't matter. Nothing's changed. I cannot do that. Why is this so hard to understand here? Hard to argue with that. And so what if it does? The ground don't got any say, it just gets stepped on over and over again. Been a thorn in my side, back and foot for 20 years. Maybe it's time I just pull it out. You may be right. Fine, you've convinced me. I'd be willing to testify on one condition. I want to know what happened to Irvin. Because when he disappeared, let's just say I had an epiphany. Hephaestus didn't need to say a word. That's when I knew the threats against me and my family were real.
Dr. Hawkson, it wasn't Hephaestus that took Irvin's life. It was the war. Irvin was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Caught in the crossfire.
Then I am sorry for your loss. It won't change the past for either of us. But I will testify. And maybe, wherever Irvin is, you'll be glad that we can finally stick it to those assholes at Hephaestus.
Thank you, Doctor.
Yeah, don't get all mushy on me now. I need a drink. I've got some dirt on other mines too. That wasn't an isolated incident. Might as well. Maybe I'll sleep a little better when this is all over.
Catch you at Lizzie's later?
As soon as my shift's over.
Here's to it.
Gagarin has always been a bit of a pit in my stomach. I know it wasn't related to Irvin's death, but it happened right before he died, so the events were both emotionally linked to me. Helgi agreeing to testify is a great help. We might need witnesses to vouch for his character, though. Someone in security, maybe? Evidence, check. Expert witness, double check. Now all that's left to do is give Ellie the good news. Thanks for everything, Ellie.
Okay, you two, lay it on me. Did you find Helgi? Did he agree to testify?
Well, we've got good news and, well, that's it. Just more good news.
Okay. Does that mean he said yes? What do we look like? New Atlantis? No. Then we better hope that our other evidence holds up. Well, that is perfect. She's probably the best person to call on should Hephaestus decide to play dirty. Well, you two have done all that you could. Now it's time to hand the baton off to me.
What do you think, Ellie? Do we have a chance?
The evidence you've gathered is impressive. It truly is.
So what's the verdict? In this case, I'd say spoilers are appreciated.
I almost never say this because I don't want to jinx it, but I think this case is a slam dunk.
Huzzah! That's what I like to hear.
I think we can do everything on our checklist. Clear Irvin of any wrongdoing, charge Hephaestus with the cover-up, and even restore Helgi, Dr. Hawkson's standing in the scientific community. All in all, though, really outstanding work. We wouldn't have gotten this far without your efforts. And I've got to imagine that wherever Irvin is, he appreciates it too.
Agreed, Ellie. And thanks for being our anchor in this.
We should probably get out of Ellie's way and let her do her thing.
We can talk more in private.
You're back. Well, what did you uncover?
Thanks, Captain. We searched Irvin's apartment and found an application for a hunting license. Compelling, right?
It's not much. Practically zero. Is that all you found?
Well, we also have a copy of the actual license sponsored by Hephaestus, too. How about that?
That's solid evidence, but likely not enough to bring it to a judge.
Opening an old case is a higher burden of proof, I'm sure.
I didn't mean to leave you with that impression, no. That is incorrect. It helps the case. It shows bad faith on the part of Hephaestus since they claimed he was not hired to hunt for them. But that's just circumstantial. It may help when we argue for a settlement value, though. If we win.
You're gonna love this, Ellie.
Basically, or at least aggressively negligent. What you both found in that mine is remarkable. These documents show that the chemicals released by the mining process contaminated the ecology even before Irvin was tasked with removing the predators. And they also show that Helgi informed Hephaestus of the issue and it was repeatedly ignored. And with that, I think we've got ourselves a case, my friends.
Yes! That's what I wanted to hear, Ellie. Woo!
Yes, but it's still likely to lose. Because what we really need now is Helgi as our witness, and that is a problem. I'm glad you're taking it in stride. It's just, for a case with this much science, we need the man who wrote the claims to back them up. Maybe even explain it in layman's terms. Good luck. Shouldn't you be off adventuring? Don't worry about it. For this case, I expect the paperwork to climb up the stairs and the verdict to fly out the window. So even if I did have a courier send you a court date, you'd never get here in time. But whatever the outcome, I'll make sure you and Barrett are the first to know. Well, detectives, you did the heavy lifting. Now it's my turn to close. But it's not as simple as waving the proof in somebody's face, especially with a case this old. There's appeals that have to be filed, legal proceedings, bureaucracy, the whole nine. My recommendation is you and Barrett take some time off. Travel the galaxy, see the sights. I'll send him a message when I have some actual news. Thanks for your work, detectives.
Wow, we actually did it. Solved the case. And hopefully cleared Irvin's name. I feel like, what's the old saying? A great weight has been lifted off my shoulders? But it's actually true. I feel like I'm 80% biomass and 20% aerogel. It's a substance that is literally lighter than air, depending on the planet. Habitable planets tend to range from 1 to 2 milligrams per cubic centimeter. Most aerogels are about 1/10 of that. I feel like I'm currently hovering in that territory, give or take 1/10. Thanks. I was trying not to be too optimistic about our chances, because that's when a cosmic reversal kicks in. But I think it's okay in this case. We've already proven Irvin's innocence, and I trust Ellie to explain it. Ellie would know better than I, but I doubt it'll be anytime soon. These things tend to involve a lot of red tape. It's a special kind of adhesive that makes you stick to old filing cabinets and manila envelopes. I hope so. It's always a tug-of-war between the workers and the mining corps. But there's one thing we've got in our favor. There's more of us than there are of them. All it takes is for the people to realize it. I'm feeling great. Although I could do with some wine and cheese. Why stop at emotional satisfaction when we can indulge in the culinary too? But if I can be serious for a moment, thank you. I couldn't have done this without your help. Ah, that's sweet. But it wasn't just for me, it was for Irv. And of course, we can't forget our new friend Harvey. In fact, Harvey's got a little explorer in him too. According to this slate I found, turns out that our spiky friend's been all across the galaxy. The plant? From Irvin's apartment? Just look at the slate. It'll explain. I doubt it. Harvey's a wanderer. Getting lost is how he finds his way home. We've been through a lot, haven't we? I had forgotten what it was like to work with someone so closely. When you joined Constellation, I didn't know what to expect. I was just reflecting on everything we've been through, you know? It's impressive. On top of everything else we've done together and with Constellation, yeah, I think so. Investigating Irvin's case with you is something I'll remember forever. I've come to realize that some events, some people, stand out as pillars of my life. It's whatever leaves an impression on you, right? Moments that define our lives, where our future diverged from our expectations. People who changed you, or people you've changed. Is it? Well, I guess it is. You noticed that, huh? I suppose I should just keep going and get it all out of my system. It'll do me some good. We only get a brief moment in this universe to interact, to feel, to be who we are and experience the range of emotions that our bodies and minds have evolved to comprehend. Sure. Our bodies are all we have, really. Humans are physical, which allows us to be social. This allows us to interact with others on a natural, almost primordial level. And these interactions can be fleeting or drawn out substantially, if you know what I mean. Anyway, if one is fortunate, you might even notice events and people changing you while it is in motion. You're playing with me, aren't you? Well, I'm almost done. Just listen. I've explored many worlds, and I've worked with Constellation for most of my life. I cherish those memories, but you have changed me as a person forever. I don't want to look back years from now and wonder what if. I need to know what you think about us. You cannot know how relieved I am to hear you say that, because I feel exactly the same way. I haven't missed your very welcome and affectionate hints. I still grin when I think about some of the things you've said. And just so you know, I loved it every single time. But before we go on further, are you really ready to build love into our friendship? This is a huge step, you know. I've done this before, of course, and my love for Irvin will always be there. But I have room in my mind and heart to love again, and I'm willing to try. I'm ready to. This is the moment I was hoping for. The moment that I will remember forever. My heart is racing. This is an adventure in itself, isn't it?